start with the pick and ban.
Yeah, it's got to be really tough going through this and deciding Boy, trying to figure out what to ban away. We can see Twisted Fate and Gangplank still from ROX going to be taken out, but the Kog'Maw coming in, taking that away from Prey.
We were surprised that KT vs Samsung, no Kog'Maw picks, no Kog'Maw bans. Even when 380 carries were banned out, no one picked the Kog'Maw. But ROX Tigers, last time on the riff, it was patch 6.3, but they went full Juggernaut, as of course they coined that comp originally. They brought it back, it looked pretty damn powerful. It's banned away.
Yeah, it's going to be Lulu rounding out ROX's bans. Callista and Nidalee, of course, from Longzhu. They do not want Peanut on that champion. So we'll see what he decides to pull out this time. Could be maybe the Elise. First pick, surprisingly, from ROX is not going to be the Alistar, which Gorilla has played, I think, 17 times this season.
Yeah, the Alistar is at 14-2. He somehow managed to play 16 games on a champion that never makes it past the first round of the draft on red side, but ROX Tigers, so unenviable. Think about the amazing champions ROX Tigers have available. Quinn, for example, probably not going to be selected now that we see the Nautilus, but Quinn is a frequent ban against Smeb. Peanut still has Elise, which he comes into this match 7-0 on Elise, actually his most played of all junglers. Alistar, as we mentioned, 14-2 record for Gorilla. Callista doesn't make it through picks and bans. What are Longzhu going to draft? Corki available. Corki probably going to be snapped up.
More than likely. We saw a lot of priority placed on him yesterday, giving it over to Soul. Second game with it didn't do quite so hot. First game, though, was pretty impactful by the end of it. So it'd be pretty surprising if Longzhu do not snatch that one up. And Longzhu's not going to take the Alistar away from Gorilla, so he might still be able to get it, but it's going to be Kindred and Corki coming in for Longzhu in the first round. The question is, yet again, what is Kindred going to build?
If any example from 2016, and the last couple of weeks, going to probably be the Devourer. This is a pretty decent matchup for Kindred. Of course, after level 6, the all-in from Elise doesn't work. It's very much a skill matchup between Kindred and Elise. Between Kindred and Elise. So that'll be interesting to see. Smeb's just going to default back to the Poppy. Another draft where ROX Tigers, they're picking a lot of CC. They're picking champions quickly. Looking very much like a pick comp on the side of ROX Tigers.
Longzhu playing with some interesting choices right now with the Pantheon Hover. Been on this since the round started. Fiora, of course, a pretty decent one in the top lane to go against Smeb with that Poppy.
Pantheon's only really a Sin play around the world as a counterpick to Fiora, so just shouting out other regions as far as we can tell. Going for a poke comp in their first 2 picks and now solidifying them with a split pusher and an excellent disengage support. Really excited to see where Longzhu go with their last draft. So far very balanced from the ROX Tigers. We're looking for, as far as we can tell, a mid laner and AD carry. Yeah. But Nautilus could be flexed to support.
You never know. It could be in the mid lane as we saw just yesterday. Didn't work out so well, so I don't think that we are going to see that one. But now the Jhin Hover coming in as well. I really wish that we'd get to see that champion.
With all the tweaks, we are not many games away. It could in fact be this one, but no guarantee. A lot of tanks and a Sivir. We're back to 2015.
All right, well the question is Bray going to build this Sivir differently than what we saw yesterday? Because we did not get a single Essence Reaver with that Sivir. And she suffered very heavily for it, not having that consistent damage that she needs.
Big change for Sivir on 6.4 was letting her ricochet critical strike. Crit on the first auto means that every single bounce will crit. Of course, that gives her more wave clear. Not really a problem for Sivir previously, but means the QW more likely to instant clear. Static Shiv, Essence Reaver sounds like just a nightmare for the enemy team to keep up with. You could even throw in a Zerot portal. She's probably still clearing that if she gets the crit on her auto attack.
Yeah.
But it was Infinity Edge Rush when we saw it yesterday. Consistently, we saw a Sivir be out of mana, but Sivir, again, is being mostly picked for a utility here. She's got tanks that need to gap close on the hunt, the perfect way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the question was going to be, what is Longzhu drafting here, a mid laner or an AD carry? Since we just have that Corki, looks like it's going to be the AD carry, as Ezreal does get locked in for Fury.
Now you worry for Longzhu, because their first 2 picks were poke, so ROX Tigers were like, let's engage. And Sivir plus tanks means plenty of engage. Nautilus, Poppy, Elise, Lissandra can all do their engaging. So on the side of Longzhu, they're going to try and set up for poke. Now they do have the backup win condition of the Fiora split push, but Poppy has always been a pretty adept hand, at least holding down the Fiora. And if you ever group as you want to have Braum just throwing up that Unbreakable and triple AD carry raining down on turrets, ROX Tigers, it's not Nocturne Ash, but there are so many people that can get into the back line and mess up the super squishy lineup. Longzhu have only a Braum for any semblance of tanking.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tanking skills on the side of ROX. Poppy, Elise herself gets pretty damn tanky with that Riley's Crystal Scepter, amongst other items coming in. And then, of course, Gorilla on this Nautilus is just going to be an unstoppable force. So you really have to wonder what is going to be Longzhu's game plan going into this. And in particular, is Chaser going to be able to out-pressure Peanut?
It's a very high-pressure jungle matchup, Elise versus Kindred. Never bet against Peanut. This guy has been running the jungle show in multiple games, but now that Kindred's back up, it's no surprise. She's one of the few champions that you could always see is at worst 50% in a duel.
I feel like if you're Chaser, you almost want to go for Warrior rather than the State of Devour, just because it's more consistent against Peanut, who's a very good jungler.
Oh, that's right. Delay your power spikes against the quickest team in LCK. Good plan.
Yeah.
Probably going to be Warrior chat this game.
More than likely. We'll find out when we get onto the Rift. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it's Longzhu versus ROX Tigers, Game 1. Welcome back. We are on the Rift for Game 1. ROX Tigers versus Longzhu. Crowd seems pretty evenly split yet again. Good amount of cheers for both sides.
I mean, the moment that Longzhu beat SKT 2-0, you looked at the calendar, you circled this match, you said, this is the one that I have to see. This is the one where anything could happen. Now, ROX Tigers could just smash Longzhu. There is always that potential. This team takes leads, runs with them, finishes the games, on average, by far the fastest in the league. The next fastest, I believe, 4 or 5 minutes on average, slower game time than the ROX Tigers, and they've drafted different again. The one consistent story with ROX Tigers is they're not picking poke comps. They're going for Juggermore, they're going for team fighting, they're going for engage. They have so much engage this game. You worry that these 380 carries, Nautilus, Elise, Lissandra, and Poppy going to start messing them up, and Sivir should be free hitting right next to that tank line. Unique thing about Sivir, pops that ult, everyone gets in fast, and she's there fighting with that tank line.
Yeah, and that's really going to help Kuro especially get into the back line with that Lissandra and try to 100-0 either Fury or Coco.
Ray and Gorilla are looking for the invade. They have been spotted by a ward though.
Yeah, so this should not play out.
Face checking a Braum can be very risky.
Yeah, well, they do see this one coming in. So they're going to walk up. Looks like they should remain pretty safe here. Now the ward has expired. Gorilla goes in. He's going to get stunned off the bat by these concussive blows, down to about half HP. Right, trying to get the damage in. Uses the ricochet, of course. The flash comes in, trying to root Fury. The exhaust onto Prey as well. This looks like it's going to be very bad for ROX. The flash forward, Fury is going to get first blood. Now the stun comes through. Looks like this could be a double kill. Gorilla is going to go down. Longzhu kicking things off 2-0.
Longzhu completely outfoxed the ROX Tigers. That ward towards the entrance of the Raptor buff saw out their plan. You're face checking a Braum Ezreal. Even though you have Ricochet at level 1, very, very powerful in these 2v2 fights. The target selection was that much better. You got those extra free auto attacks because of the surprise factor, and Longzhu have a massive advantage already.
Yeah, that is a great way for Longzhu to kick off this series if you want to take down the current reigning top team in the LCK. But, of course, since you are playing with the top team, you can't just be like, oh, well, we won. So they still have to play very intelligently and cautiously moving forward from this point, but that is just a great way to kick things off.
Only lucky factor for the ROX Tigers is this Ezreal with Braum and not a champion with better wave, because if they had lost multiple minion waves to the turret plus those deaths, this lane, okay, it wouldn't be over, but it would have required a lot of investment. Gorilla's stunned up again.
Yeah, punishing him again. He does get the shield up before he gets stunned, so he'll mitigate a bit more of the damage that he would have taken.
Learning message from this particular game. Do not play cheeky or greedy around a Braum at level 1. His level 1 is insane. If the AD carry has any way to proc those concussive blows, and basically everyone does, Ezreal from long range, in fact, with the Mystic shot proccing it.
Yep.
The punishment is severe. Look at the gold difference. It's 800 gold between AD carries in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, that is pretty severe. And overall, 1.1 thousand separating these teams. What a way to start. Smep going in. Onto Expression, Peanut coming around the sidelines as well. Can he land the cocoon? Actually pushes Expression away, flashes forward to get in range. Gets the flash from Expression as well. So it's going to be 2 flashes down on the side of ROX, or just 1 on Longzhu.
Let's talk about the fact that Expression is preferred to Flame, and what we have to only imagine is perhaps the strongest lineup Longzhu believe they can field. They're against a team that they respect. This is the best they believe they have. What's the difference between Expression and Flame is a question I'd like to get into, as Chaser is very close to
they're
top
going to
lane.
go for it. Prey with a really good shield on that Q. Looks like they will not be able to proc the stun. They will remain alive for the time being. Chaser with some good early aggression. This is what we wanted to see from him if he's going to contend against Peanut.
Knows the 3 summoners are down, so very obvious lane to gank in the top lane for Longzhu.
Unfortunately, just not quite working out for him. Looks like he's just going to go get some vision in the blue side jungle of ROX and now back off into his own and continue farming up. With this sort of start from Longzhu, this might be what Chaser wants to be comfortable enough to go for the Devourer ability.
Look, so many of the stories around ROX Tigers have been Peanut focused. What has Peanut done? He's a new player, he makes a lot of flashy plays, always in the enemy jungle, running the show. How does he do it? I'm sure every jungler in the world is watching those VODs and trying to learn from Peanut, because he had been jungling in a manner that no one else was at the start of this year. We have to remember that that sort of counter jungling was best said by Moscow 5 in Season 2, the counter jungling is all about the team, and ROX Tigers always first to react, always have lane pressure, always have champions like Alistair to really mess people up in a skirmish. Peanut's ability to pressure was a product of his team picking winning lanes. They weren't going for poke, they weren't going for late power spikes, they were going for early power spikes. When your lanes are behind, which is severely the case in top, very hard to have that same impact on the map.
Yep, Peanut coming in for Expression yet again. No flashes available. Kindred is in the area though. They get a good amount of damage in. He will riposte the cocoon, and now Peanut is just getting turned on. The TP coming in from Smeb as well. Looks like Peanut will get out alive. Teleport canceled. Overall, a lot of damage put onto Peanut. He's gonna have to run back to his base and heal up. Good arrival by Chaser.
It's actually surprisingly defensive by Longzhu. It's just a single auto attack in. It's just Lissandra teleporting from mid, wasn't punished, didn't take a lot of damage even though she was teleporting in the middle of the lane. So single summoner keeps Peanut alive. Really good pathing from Chaser to be there right at the right time, and Expression holding on to the riposte for so long is what allowed them the turnaround. So really nice play from Longzhu.
All the teleport, now we can see Chaser around the backside of this tower. Peanut quite low. Expression just trying to get a little bit of damage in. Don't think they want to go for this dive quite just yet. Kuro on the roam down, trying to alleviate some of this pressure. Coco is matching him. Prey taking a bit of damage. Out of mana, gonna have to try to get some shields in here. Block some of these Mystic shots to get that mana back.
The thing we learned from the SKT series was that Longzhu researches their opponents better than anyone else in Champions, as far as I can see. They had a plan for SKT, they understood their weaknesses, played around them, and in both games took massive early leads. Okay, they almost lost game 1, but they just seem to always have a plan. They played around pressure. Their level 1 plan here of that ward next to the mid lane next to Raptors to counter the engage, as Kuro takes almost his whole life bar in harass, was great to see. This is a well-researched team. Now they're drafting, I feel, their late game team fighting has let them down on multiple occasions, but their research on their opponents is at another level to their opposition.
Yeah, that is showing true so far. First 7.5 minutes of this game, still 2-0. Gold lead still hovering around the 1,000 area, about 900, 800 separating these teams at the moment. But Longzhu just making good moves around the map. Chaser as well, arriving where he needs to be right on time to keep his solo laners alive.
Fury, we didn't even mention, picked up the lazy double kill. Of course, that was gifted to him by the face check and the wrong pick, but Fury in an interview, they talked about what he would provide the team, why it was different from Captain Jack. He talked about how Captain Jack is the safe laner. You know what Captain Jack will give you. I think every Champions fan since Season 1 knows that Captain Jack, laning phase not his strongest, will play very defensive, will do his best in team fights, put out as much damage as possible without dying. That's the Captain Jack.
He's very consistent.
That we know and love. Very consistent. On the other side of the coin, Fury made it very clear that he plays the aggressive style to Captain Jack's passive style. Yep. And so that's why he said, you know, they said, okay, but Pure seems like a defensive support. And he was like, no, I played with Pure in scrims. He's aggressive, he's misunderstood. And he thought that this duo will be a much more aggressive duo lane for Longzhu. And what that gives the team, I think, will be on full display this game. Because if you pick an aggressive duo lane, if they get ahead, that's map pressure that would never be there if it was Captain Jack.
Yep. Speaking of map pressure, Pure getting some good vision yet again into that blue side jungle. So they can try and track Peanut's movements as much as humanly possible.
Lane pressure in the duo lane. What is that going to mean? Especially if you've got Coco in mid on Corki, who can provide a lot of pressure. It's going to help Chaser. He's going to be the big one profiting. As for once, it's not going to be ROX is flying in from every direction to be there to support Peanut. We've hardly said Peanut's name this game because it's been the Longzhu show.
Yeah, he's not done too much. Lost some summoner spells in the bot lane, trying to gain expression. That's about it.
You know what you get if your lanes are behind and you try to invade to create pressure? You get Ambition last year. Most deaths on his team, dying randomly in the enemy jungle. At least Peanut understands that, because for once, he's silenced. He cannot make the same sort of map pressure. He's so well known.
Yep. Judging by the double daggers in the inventory of Chaser, I think we know which way he's going for his jungle items.
Well, I don't know what's going on with Devourer, but look, it has its merits. Interacts well with the passive. You don't need to build Blade the Ruin King or really change your build too much. So if you get ahead, and once again, his team's ahead, if you get this breathing space to go Devourer, why not go it? If you can go greedy, go greedy. It's just if you're punished for it, don't be surprised.
Yeah. Not gonna go ahead and clear out this pink ward. Chaser not going to contest him for it.
Telling about the lane matchup that despite getting a double kill, Fury is actually 20 CS behind.
Yes. That has been good on Prey to get that CS numbers back up. Still solid though for those 2 kills in his pocket. It's going to help Fury out a lot, equalizing that goal.
But given how this is the lane matchup looks, where Fury gets a double kill, imagine what the CS numbers would be if that double kill hadn't been donated over to Ezreal.
That is a very good point to make. You can see Kuro trying to clear out this pink ward, but Chaser's coming around the sidelines. You know something's up, goes ahead and follows that glacial path over the walls and smiles. Chaser, which will send him straight back into the jungle, which I don't think he has too much of a problem with.
Worth noting that Peanut could have picked for comp and gone for the Gragas instead of this Elise. It was a first round of Kindred. Gragas is by far the best champion at dealing with that Lancer Spite.
Peanut will back off of that river position. Pure was on the way down trying to get a pick. Will remain alive for the time being. Gold lead slightly stretching here for Longzhu. They continue to have a pretty good CS lead in both the top lane and the mid lane.
Pick Elise over Gragas for only one reason. For those early duels, pre-level 6, for those early ganks, they haven't come off because of the level 1. And now they might really be left smarting if they go all in with their tank line on one member and Lancer Spite changes the game. It's down bottom.
Yeah, Smeb fighting Expression. He does have his flash available. Cocoon barely by the last pixel does not hit. He will be able to walk away with his life and his flash. Still up on cooldown. Off cooldown.
The moment that Longzhu announced that Flame was joining the roster, you're like, okay, keep Expression around. He's a good sub. Probably won't play much. He was just interchange in and out of the Incredible Miracle lineup last year. But now on Longzhu, the consistent factor about Expression this season has been his laning phase. He has the strongest gold difference at 10, or the highest gold difference at 10 of anyone on Longzhu's team. Laning phase has been very strong.
Going for a dive this time around. Yep, that's going to be the sun straight to the Cocoon. He should go down with this one. Oh, locks the Q with the riposte. Chaser's coming around as well. He does have that Lancer Spite to offer. They go in, the teleport coming through as well from Kuro. Can they find the kill? The Lancer Spite is there. Smeb taking it so low. They do get the kill. The tower aggro is changing. Peanut's eating it. They get the kill, but here comes Coco. How much can he pick up? Kuro down to half HP. The Valkyrie for the Rockets coming through. Kuro has to run for the hills. Smeb as well. As they try to slow him out with the ice shards. Looks like both will get out alive. This is going to be Gorilla now rotating down. Going to be looking for another dive. They cannot mess this up. The flash. The dredge line does not hit. Flash away by Coco. Keeps himself alive yet again.
Very surprised to see Gorilla not actually use the ultimate. Would have stopped the Valkyrie in its channel.
Yeah.
But new Valkyrie was down, I guess, so just went greedy. In the end, they don't get anything out of it. Gorilla goes for the world's longest walk from top to butt. The result was a pretty even trade overall between Longzhu and ROX.
Yep, so picking up 2 kills for themselves, but gold lead still very much in favor of Longzhu. No objectives really coming out quite just yet. Dragon has not even, well, it was looked at by Chaser, but he had driven off of it, but since then has not been revisited.
Expression did a really good job in that turret dive. He lived for longer than anyone had any right to, and again, it echoes the point. His laning phase has been stronger. Okay, Flame has had a really good 2 weeks, but over the course of the so far 7 weeks of Champions, I think Expression's been the more reliable laner. Now you add aggression in top. You've got a carry AD carry, not just a role-playing safe AD carry. You can't have a carry top, a carry-minded AD carry, and also Coco, you know, one of the big carries in Champions. So they had to sacrifice somewhere, and it feels like Flame is the big loser with Fury coming into the lineup.
Yeah, just a bit. Expression doing quite well for posting that execute damage from Peanut on the Q.
They just need a top laner that has deep champion pool and a strong laning phase, and clearly they so far have decided that's Expression.
Yeah, it's working out for them. You can see Chaser getting a bit greedier, going into the jungle of Peanut, taking away that blue buff, denying that away from Koro. Expression waiting around here is not going to go in to try to contest the Gromp.
Has no vision whatsoever on this side of the jungle, so smart of him to be defensive, but gonna see another gank.
Yeah, quite likely. So I'm taking a bit of damage though. Peanut coming around the back of this. See if he can riposte again. Nope, Peanut's just gonna go ahead and repel up and get out of there. Chaser is waiting in the wings, so good on him to go ahead and abandon hope of that. Meanwhile, on the top side, Pure really getting engaged on quite hard here. He will go down. Bray finds that kill. TP up into the top side to make sure they really confirm this kill onto Fury. Smeb coming in, gets the assist and the kill by throwing out the shield. Kuro though taking a lot of damage. He Valkyries forward. Can he get the kill onto Kuro? Yes, he does. Coco taking him down. Repel up in the air with almost nowhere to go. Peanut has to flash away. Gets slowed by that riposte. Do they want to go for the dive? Looks like they do. The Grand Challenge still there. Now expired. Expression almost gets killed, but he finds the kill himself, taking out Peanut. That is just going to be 2 kills coming in now for Longzhu. Gorilla in a bad spot, has to go over to Smeb, but Coco's waiting arms are there, gets the grab, but it doesn't even matter. Smeb gets the stun with Chaser into the wall, but they're just getting popped. Prey arrives though, the Boomerang Blade comes through, finishes off Expression. How much more can he get? He finishes off Chaser. Can he kill Coco? The burst damage is too much from the Corki, and just like that, 4 members go down on the side of ROX Tigers.
An insane double skirmish into Ace from Longzhu.
Yes, Koro did go down.
Teleport into the top lane gets 2 kills. Teleport into the mid lane gets 2 kills, but ROX Tigers decide they can re-engage. They can keep fighting. First, Gorilla shows up and dies for free. ROX is biting off more than they can chew. They feel like they have the earlier power spikes. They're the team with the Sivir. They're the team with the cheaper builds. But this is just
off the bat. I don't know how I forgot this one.
Remember, this is teleports punishing in multiple parts of the map. That part's understandable. It's just that the ROX Tigers, with 3 members top, they can just accept their losses here. They can go, okay, 2 for 2. Maybe we'll get this exit kill on Expression is very low. But one by one, they tumble in. Sivir, trying to finish the turret in top, is nowhere near. That's the big story. So that if all 3 members of ROX had said, collapse, go and fight, this would have been a 1-team fight for ROX Tigers. They focused on the turret, then they gave up the turret. First, Gorilla dies for free, then Smeb dies for free, and okay, there are low health members, but the moment that Prey is completely out of mana, no way he can deal against blue and red buff Coco, who actually Volks for damage in that trade, and another win for Longzhu.
Very well played. Gold lead does remain the same, and no objectives taken off of that fight. Slight reprieve for ROX Tigers. We're just looking out of form in this matchup so far. We can see the gold lead for that Corki is astoundingly far ahead, 5,700 to 7,500. Coco completely going off in this champion. No surprise whatsoever that they wanted to first pick this.
Out of form, I think is harsh, but lethargic a little bit by their standards. Hard to be assertive again when your duo lane gives up a double kill at level 1. Unfortunately, a lot of the flow-on effects echo what happened at level 1, and a lot of that has decided the flow of this game, because even though the laning phase has gone well CS-wise, so we see more trading.
Yeah, Pure just getting engaged on, but himself quite safe. Chaser coming around this mid lane to try to finish off that tower. Not going to hit the cocoon as well.
Prey does listen to the recommended items, Essence Reaver Rush, thankfully, on the Sivir.
Snap coming around, gets the stun into the wall, puts a good amount of damage onto Chaser. Can they follow up? Kuro's gonna follow through. This one gets popped up in the air. Lamsu Spike comes down. Can Coco do anything to help his jungler? It doesn't look like it. And Smeb will actually find that kill. Good pickup for the ROX Tigers.
Really nice rotation. They're gonna use the ult. That'll zone at least Coco.
Yeah, Kuro not gonna follow through with that Glacial Path. They'll get some damage in on this tower. Not gonna be able to take it though, because 3 members of Longzhu are here. An Expression waiting in the wings.
2 big ults used. Sivir did pop the ult for no gain whatsoever in that fight.
Yep. 2-shot barrage used here as Longzhu just want to push into this tower, which is already so weak. They're going to be able to take this one down more than likely. Smeb, though, coming around the sidelines, just trying to stave off this push. Looks like it might stand for a little bit longer. I don't think that ROX Tigers can defend this turret with relative ease.
They've got Lissandra, though, so they'll be okay. Sivir actually returns to top. Never got to kill that turret because collapsed and eventually gave up the ace against Longzhu. Gonna just push in the minion wave. Interesting to see if we see a development in this offlane matchup. That cleaver was the rush, so no lifesteal means that the poke damage from the auto attacks and the passive might actually be Smeb winning this matchup for now. Level advantage as well.
Yeah, finally took over in CS where he was down quite significantly at the start of the game. So.
And the funny thing is that it feels like Longzhu's been winning, and in fact both the level 1 and that big fight advantage Longzhu, but the gold's all but even.
Yeah, and now we have 3 members in the bot lane. Expression stun into the wall, into the cocoon, and that is all she wrote. Peanut finds the kill, and ROX Tigers are finally making the necessary moves to get themselves back into the game.
Poetry in motion from Smeb. He stunned against the wall with the flash, then activated W. No getting out of there with your Q for Fiora.
Yep.
Very nice play.
Gorgeous play and gorgeous CC layering by ROX.
They keep pushing.
Yeah.
Forcing the team with Corki to respond to you is always a great place to be in.
Yep, Coco throwing out this rocket, trying to clear the wave a little bit, but significant damage going onto that tower. Chaser going to try to get some damage onto Smeb. I don't know if they're going to be able to chase this one out. That's going to be the flash from Pure, really questionable. Not able to find any follow-up.
They invested multiple members to start the chase. That's why you saw the flash use, but not everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
It might not be mid-turret down, but certainly severely weakened.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a gold lead now for ROX Tigers.
Never let sleeping dogs lie. The ROX Tigers might have been down at level 1, but they quickly made it up. The lane matchup, Sivir just out-pushing Ezreal, nothing the Ezreal could do. Maybe the shop timing was a problem. We didn't track that lane close enough to see. And then press R at run at them, just a Sivir comp. All that's going to be on display as ROX Tigers are definitely team fight ready with their builds right now.
I'd like to just point out that Prey, in fact, did read the 6.4 patch notes. Essence Reaver into the Static Shiv, so going to be looking for that added mana regen.
Also minion waves die just when he walks near them.
Yeah, essentially.
If you critical strike on your Static Shiv double damage, that's and of course Static Shiv got that buff and now does 150% damage to. Okay, the minions will just literally explode.
Yeah. Smeb here on the top side will finish off that wave and the tower. So tower advantage now going over to ROX Tigers and stretching that gold lead ever so slightly. More and more in their favor. Longzhu going to have to do something to reestablish themselves in this game.
Longzhu have insane damage, and ROX, as you can see, has been super aggressive in their positioning in fights. So killing Prey, he is Sivir, has only the spell shield, and will be fighting with the tanks in the front line, is their goal. They've got Quadra AD damage dealers on the side of Longzhu who can assassinate Prey. But if Prey lives, I think ROX Tigers will be winning basically every team fight. So that's the big question, is that can they find some way to get on top of Prey and eliminate him? Because he is the only consistent damage dealer on the side of ROX.
Yeah. Right now he's doing well on these shields, eating these Braum Qs, trying to negate any poke they're putting onto him. So they're just going to force him to this tower. That's going to be the Fisher coming down. Smeb takes a bit of damage. He's popped up in the air for Pure. It looks like he's going to be the focus for the team, just front lining. Still alive somehow. They go in. They do get him. Peanut finishes him off. Chaser, no lamps for Spike to save his life. He goes down as well. It's a double kill for Peanut coming over. Gorilla gets stunned up, but he's not even taking the tower. So ROX still in a very comfortable spot. Kuro's finds Fury, takes him out. And just like that, ROX Tigers are assuming full control of this game.
What I want teams to do is look at the comps the ROX Tigers draft. How many times have we said everybody on this team is an initiate? It's not Ashe Nocturne this time, but Poppy, Elise, Lissandra, and Nautilus all have initiation CC, and Sivir just makes it that much more reliable with the On the Hunt. They always pick these very reliable comps with guaranteed CC. Get the picks because their shot calling is so good, and this was just a reality. Fiora's going to teleport in second, doesn't have any instant cast CC. The second the channel finishes from Kuro, instant ultimate, instant kill, and the objectives just fall one after the other for ROX Tigers.
Yeah, and that was also just Chaser using the Lamps Spike to try to save Pure's life, and then once it was gone, they, ROX Tigers was just free to collapse on the remaining members of Longzhu, and they made very quick work of them. Now Coco quite far forward. He does have the package here. Can Gorilla intercept him? Goes ahead and burns that one out. He will be alive.
Didn't have the ultimate, so was a very low percentage gank. But you know, you go for the ones you will. It also means that the package is used defensively for no gain.
Yep. So 6 more minutes, I believe, until it's back up.
So it's 8 minutes the first time, then every 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Bit shorter than I expected then.
Dragon spawns. We haven't talked about Dragon much. Longzhu picked up the first one, but Smeb has teleport and his summoners, pushing him very aggressively at the top. It looks like Coco is going to have to react, so free Dragon for ROX.
He's got 3 members closing in on him in that top side, so no one to contest this Dragon take. So it will be the first Dragon for ROX Tigers, second of the game. 6% buff now in their pocket. Smeb, though, quite far forward. 4 members now in the top side. Uses the ultimate, actually knocks away the Kindred, and that should be enough to solidify him staying alive.
ROX do go over to win this game, which is now looking more and more likely. Oh, look at that wave clear.
Yeah,
that was the crit we talked about.
That is just filthy.
Goodbye, turret. Sivir always had excellent turret damage, but not the range. Needs the tank front line that she certainly has in this game. But if ROX go on to win this game, the fun thing will be now we see what ROX Tigers do when they're behind in the early game. This has happened not at all in Champions this whole season. They have lost games, but a lot of those were with a semblance of advantage. I guess the game against Spenu, they just were far too aggressive and just got run over. But it's good to see them come from behind because this was always a confidence team. This is the same team that went undefeated in the first round of Champions Spring 2015 and then wilted at the pressure at IEM and then the second half of the spring season. It's good to see that even with this new member, Peanut, who's known to be a bit of a fiery person, personality-wise, they still do have the ability to come from behind, which was always a ROX Tiger trait. This team was famous purely for their late-game team fighting and shot calling. And it's good to see that they're developing that strength to their bow, or bringing it.
Yeah, they have been on nothing but an upward hill since, as far as their skill goes, since Worlds. Everybody thought that they were going to be the team from Korea that just did not perform, and then they made it to the finals against SKT and took a game off of them. ROX has just been looking so strong. Like you said, despite that early game, managing and taking the steps necessary to come back in this matchup. Now finding themselves with a very strong gold lead, 5,500 in their favor.
I mean to be the guy who says I told you so, but I watched and cast this team during regionals last year when they were qualifying for Worlds, and they looked like a different ROX Tigers to the one that was abjectly poor for large parts of Champion Summer 2015. They looked like they found a spring in their step.
Ooh, Coco maybe in a bad spot, gonna get locked down.
Bouncy castle.
Fight going over here onto Prey. Coco has a flash over the wall. Will he get the safety? Looks like he will. The rest of the team collapsing up toward that top lane. Cannot pinch in. Prey barely getting out with his life. Has to burn both summoners.
The upward trend was there in regionals. That's what led them to eventually qualify. It's honestly the change in talent, I think, that solidified that upward ascent into what you see right now is that they tried to play this aggressive style, but Hojin was a defensive warding jungler. He was Bengi, a poor man's Bengi, which Bengi's not having the best time this season, unfortunately. They needed a new jungler for a new meta. They got Peanut at just the right time. And that team that was in some ways gelling, they actually took a step back during Worlds. They went back to being late game team fighting basically only. But they reconfirmed what they showed during regionals this season. And the result is an attractive, fun team to follow because the ROX Tigers, they know how to win. And that's something that not a lot of teams in the 2016 patches have been able to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only do they know how to win, but they know how to have fun while they play the game in general. You see, even if they're losing a match, they're usually still all smiles.
A lot to smile about when you're 10-0 on the season, or soon to be.
Yeah, definitely one of the most modest teams, probably in the world.
Don't need to talk a big game when you don't lose any matches. Let the ref do the talking.
And that it does, and it's unfolding out before us as they continue in the lead. Now coming around trying to do a little bit of counter jungling. But Chaser and Pure are waiting in the wings. Q comes through, Coco over the other side. Nice rocket.
Gotta respect Coco, 5-0-1. He certainly is a one-man army for Longzhu.
Yeah. Wall of Mount Mortius, of course, completed for him as well. The BF sword in the inventory. He's got a lot of damage as well as some protection for himself.
Was forced to go more second, would have wanted to go to Infinity Edge, because of course those magic damage crits, so hard to itemize against Corki when they change his damage to 50% magical, 50% physical, just on his auto attacks, always was. Spell heavy out wide, so now it's about 70-30 split in terms of damage. But again, When ROX Tigers presses the go button, they get the summoners up on everyone. It's 380 carries trying to get away from the world's biggest wombo bouncy castle happening from ROX Tigers. Like, let's just think about the initiations. They're targeted. They're all going to be faster, so there's no way to run backwards. Okay, Valkyrie and the Ezreal open up some space, but not enough to get away from the ROX Tigers' oncoming damage train, and there's just very little counterplay to what ROX has put together. Teleport coming in, this is a lane gank.
Yes it is, Fury has to jump away. Here comes Smith from the sidelines, he flashes straight to the face of Gorilla, gets locked down. When they get popped up in the air, it's going to be Fury going down first. Pure has to flash out himself. Coco stunned into the wall now with the package, yet again used defensively, gets himself to safety. But just like that, ROX creates a pick for themselves, and they could go right over to this Baron.
Gorilla, very, very low health, but Ezreal is dead. We'll have True Shot Barrage when he spawns, but this Baron's certainly not going to live. 30 seconds in length, Longzhu puts up a really big contest. Gonna be risky.
Yeah, Expression goes in, Kuro's there, the Grand Challenge comes down. Kuro already down to half HP. Gorilla with the dredge line's not gonna land. Smeb trying to come in for that stun on the sidelines, actually finds Chaser, who's just kiting back quite well. Coco finding Kuro, however, takes him down quite low. The rocket so well timed, takes him out. He gets Gorilla as well.
Double kill.
Can he finish off Peanut? No, he cannot. But the double kill coming through, and now Smeb, all on his lonesome, goes back in onto Expression. Prey not able to do enough, so just like that, Longzhu do a good job denying that Baron take.
Very, very obvious split call from ROX. You don't see that very often. I guess maybe Smeb overestimated his ability to tussle in the backline. 1v3, can't do that on Poppy just yet. Gets punished for it, and ROX definitely lose the fight. And Longzhu surprisingly pick up a dragon. Big story here was that Kuro was in a pink warded brush, but the moment that Expression saw him, he went for the engage. At this point, this is the big story, is that Coco stays aggressive. They didn't expect the Corki to fight in the front lines, but quick double kill is just what they didn't bank on. They thought they were just going to push all 5 members into the Raptor camp and fight as 5. Coco assassinating the backline, and now 7-1 Corki. He's got that Infinity Edge. He is still very formidable, and any fight needs to account for a free-farmed, fed Corki.
Yeah, he is definitely the one to watch on Longzhu. Fury doing what he can, throwing out some damage from the backside, but still just getting jumped on by Smeb.
Well, target selection doesn't have a QSS. They have a lot of CC. Okay, Moore makes him somewhat tanking. We'll have this flash up in a couple of seconds, but ROX Tigers, they need to be watching out for this Corki. If he dies, so do Longzhu's hopes in a fight.
Yeah, just like that Gorilla getting knocked down quite a bit, below half HP. It's going to be Kuro on the Lissandra, splitting in the bot side of the map. Does not want to fight Expression, however.
Expression doesn't have much magic resist. It's usually a matchup that Lissandra gets outscaled in, but for now, pretty even between the two, but they're realistically just going to be trading farm.
He might be able to win.
The reason why he's there is that Kuro has teleport and Expression doesn't.
Yeah.
So, just playing around their win conditions, opening up the Baron potentially to be taken if they do see minion waves in the right spot.
Yeah, it's good pressure on both sides of the map. Top and bot are both pushing against Longzhu.
If you teleport in your groups, which we've seen far too often in Champions, then you're making a mistake, especially with the good wave clear that Lissandra has. It's a difference when you see Gangplank in this situation. You might say, okay, if Gangplank has teleport, he teleports in, doesn't provide very much, he needs to be there for the start of the fight. This is Lissandra.
Yeah.
Instantly does a whole hell of a lot when she channels her teleport, so definitely should be looking for the teleport engage. Still is in the base though.
Yeah, and Smeb is sitting up near this top lane looking for a pitch. They know that he's here, however, they're being in the brush. They have some semblance of an idea. Goes forward onto Chaser. Not going to be able to find too much.
Kuro's still in base.
I'm still just waiting. I want these home guards, but he sees that wave building up in the bot lane. Looks like he's gonna zip down there and clear that out. So Longzhu just gonna play the patience game and make sure that they have these waves still just constantly crashing against Longzhu's base.
Mortal Reminder actually completed by Fury. We saw a lot of Mortal Reminder yesterday. That is, of course, the Grievous Root Wounds version of the Last Whisper upgrades. I guess chiefly going to be used against Lissandra. It does decrease her self-heal during her ult if she goes for initiation. At this point in the game, when QSS are being completed, expecting Lissandra to almost purely be on self-ult duty.
Let's see how that works out for Fury as opposed to using the Lord Dominus regards.
It is a very high health lineup from ROX, so would have got a lot of value out of Lord Dominic's regards, but again, looking for the utility of the Mortal Reminder instead.
Yep, we can see they try to push up this mid lane, and Fury just repeatedly using that ultimate over and over again. Peanut's going to get spotted out by that Wolf Spirit, so not going to be able to pinch on the side of Expression.
Don't see Peanut under level compared to his opponent very much, now even, but has a slight experience disadvantage to Chaser.
And this is just going to be the slow, patient game coming up from both teams, neither one wanting to misstep in any way. Look at that wave. Start to disappear.
Which way? Oh, Prey's not hitting it, so
yeah,
that's why it's living a little bit.
Now takes it out. We can see he's got the Vamp Scepter with the BF Sword.
ROX Tigers have been surprisingly controlled the last 3-4 minutes. They've let Expression get his teleport timer up. We're back at 10 flashes up on the Rift, and basically every combat summoner available as well. So Titanic fight definitely developing. Is there an item they're waiting to complete? It's hard to say. Smeb's overextended. Plenty of people coming.
Yeah, this could be quite bad for the Poppy. 4 members all on this top side, winds up the ultimate. Can he hit it? Gets the Ezreal, dashes toward the Corki, who still has a plethora of burst damage. True Teleport's now coming in. Kuro has joined the fray. True Shot Barrage barely gonna miss. Coco getting ultied. The Dredge Line's not going to land. Peanut coming around from the side. Can he get a Cocoon? Looks like they're just gonna go ahead and take out this pink ward.
Remember, Poppy's backing has teleport. Didn't have to use flash either, so re-engage potential there for ROX. That was the better target selection. Coco got chunked out, but they couldn't take him down. They're going to start Baron.
Yeah, they're going to
they
start
know
the
that
Baron.
Coco can't be there quickly.
But he has a package, so he actually can get there with relative ease. Smeb as well, just holding off, waiting for the teleport. Corki zipping his way back in. Smeb now teleporting up behind Longzhu, at least above them. But they're just going to rotate down toward the mid side of the map, and Smeb just straight back on the split push duties.
Actually a pretty poor teleport by Smeb standards. Usually finds a great spot. Longzhu weren't committing, and ROX also were non-committal.
Yeah, I think they heard the siren from the... oh, yeah, that was so close.
Smeb on a flank. He's actually going to get focused down, but he is Poppy. So
yeah, he's running into 5 members of Longzhu. Has to be very cautious, especially when Coco's in the mix.
Man, we haven't said this very many times, but remember, with a 32-minute average game time, at 36 minutes, this game is on a knife edge between the ROX Tigers and the Longzhu Gaming. This game is so close. Longzhu, smart early plan. ROX tried to run the mid game, did as they usually do, but a couple of uncharacteristic teamfight mistakes mean this game is all but even.
Yeah, still a gold lead, but it's becoming less and less important as we move forward through this game. Smeb spotting out Expression. Not going to be able to get onto him though, just going to continue clearing out these waves, which just seems to be the name of the game today.
So many wards down. You want to match every ward that ROX Tigers puts down with a red ward just because you need to see where the teleport's coming. Of course, for the next 4 minutes, not so relevant. They're trying Baron again.
Yeah, they're going for this one.
No blue trinkets available.
Smeb is on the outside of the pit.
They don't have a way to spot this.
Gets a bit of damage onto Fury. Let's see if they can go in for the steal. Coco just off on the sidelines. It's going to be Barrett going over for Peanut. Smeb taking a lot of damage, so has to flash out. Fury as well, and Pure getting burned out. Pure on the retreat, has to flash away, but he goes down. Chaser as well will fall. No Lamb's Respite yet again to save his life, and 4 members from Longzhu go down. Expression, the only one making it out relatively untouched. And I think just like that, ROX Tigers have won the game for themselves.
ROX Tigers understand there were no blue trinkets available. Ezreal ult was down as well. They knew there were no ways to check Baron. And then they just go decisively. One mind, one call. Something that eluded them earlier in the game. This time you see the benefits of having so much confidence under your wings. And it's going to win the game from that one fight.
Yep.
No way.
On Pure, there's no way that they'd be able to defend this one. Expression is not even bothering. Just going to chill over there by the fountain. Towers down, Nexus falls. ROX Tigers taking game 1.
Don't you dare call that a throw from Longzhu. They just were in a position where they couldn't get a ward in. Smeb played the goalkeeper, and they rushed down a Baron that they spent so much time prepping for. ROX, once again, the veteran shot calling, the smart play takes it out, but Longzhu came so close to causing what would have been a Titanic upset.
Yeah, that was so well played by Longzhu for the longest time. ROX, though, proving that they can come back after such a huge disadvantage.